We begin tonight with Overwatch Contenders action. With the Overwatch League Season 2 right around the corner, we needed some high-quality Overwatch action to hold us over, and the NA Contenders League final did not disappoint. We saw Fusion University take on ATL Academy. This match had it all. It had wins, it had losses, shocking. It even had a draw. Fusion University, or FU as I like to call them, never mind, we shouldn't call them that. We'll just go with Fusion U. That's better. Took home the championship 4-2. This is their third Contenders title in a row, and we've put together a few of the highlights in case you missed the action. Take a look.
Out. Fusion University can still go in. Elf holding onto the barrier, likely about to pop it soon. Breed flooding back on.
Oh, the 180 shatter! He did it! The madman, he did the text. They don't even have to freeze him.
This.
You just constantly tap it. You just tap. Tap. And
Gator is doing a different type of, crouching over there.
Yeah, it's a tactical crouch.
Yeah, tactical.
That's a tactical crouch.
More. Bernard gonna drop the bomb. Barrier though comes the time. Ajax able to get the barrier just when you need it. Self-destruct from Hawk.
Good job from
He's
Sugar
down.
Free.
They're protecting the payload right here. And now Atlanta getting the pickups they need. The front line is down. Bernard out. Chasing gone. And Atlanta is gonna even up the series.
Ajax getting that beat when he needed it, keeping people alive.
Man, that was an awesome match, and neither team has anything to be ashamed of. But instead of helping me hold out for all Season 2, I found that it just made me want more.
Yeah, well, we all want more. More.
With the changes that have shown up on the test server, this year is expected to be pretty Reaper heavy, but only time will tell what meta will come out of the season. Moving on now from Overwatch League to League of Legends, LoL's European League, the LEC, has announced their new playoff system. Now, there are a couple of interesting features to their bracket. In the first round, the top 2 teams get a bye, and Team 3 gets to choose their opponent between Teams 5 and 6. Very different and kind of interesting when you really think about it. While ensuring you want the best matchup for yourself, you also now have to consider the matchup you're giving to the other team. You know, Buck, I would hate to be the coach that picks their opponent and then loses. That would suck.
Yeah, I like giving the higher ranked team a choice because they're just those teams that, for whatever reason, you match up poorly with. In the next round, the 2 winners from round 1 face each other, and teams 1 and 2 face each other. Stick with me here. At first glance, you might be thinking, why in the hell are teams 1 and 2 facing each other in the second round? But it's actually a pretty cool structure. The winner between 1 and 2 automatically goes to the finals, while the loser faces the winner of the other second round. The winner of the third round goes to the finals as well. A lot of people are excited for this structure and the start of the League of Legends season.
1, 2, 3. Way too much arithmetic for my blood.
I agree.
Way too much. But I'm sure it'll make a lot more sense when we see it played out. I would say that explainer video the LEC put out did its job, because reading about the structure gave me a headache, but seeing it explained with visuals, pictures, that's more my speed.
I do like drawing with crayons too.
The other top MOBA, Dota 2, also had some good press this week with the release of True Sight, a documentary about last year's International. The movie is available on Twitch and YouTube. It documents the path that, spoiler alert, OG had to take to win last year. If you aren't familiar with Dota 2 or esports in general, it's actually a great place to start. If you want to see how not to esports, you can also watch a more recent Dota 2 match where Team Boom ID surrendered a match that they were going to win. That's right, a team mistakenly thought they were about to lose and gave up just before their creeps were about to destroy Team's Ancient. Yeah, that's right, the opponent's name was actually Team.
Yeah, I feel like that was probably a fun one for the casters to cast. Team is going to lose game 1, but what's this? The other team has surrendered to Team, which means Team is going to take game 1. Yeah, it's kind of confusing. You know what else I find difficult to cast?
Everything?
Shut up. Well, that's true. But I was specifically talking about PUBG. PUBG finished their North American League qualifiers last weekend. The qualifier was followed up by a 4-game final in which the 13th place team from the qualifier, Tempo Storm, took home the first prize of $50,000. We know from our work with PUBG that Tempo Storm is a really good team, but having only 4 games to decide a winner just takes away a lot of the prestige. That would be like making a conference championship in college just be 1 quarter instead of the entire game. The real test for these teams will come when the National PUBG League, or NPL, starts in February. The qualified teams now have 2 weeks to move out to California for the start of the NPL. You know, I really wish that I could be paid to live in California and play video games all day.
I'm going back to Cali. Anyway, while Buck finishes up his daydream, we're going to take a short break. The meta will be right back after this.
Welcome back. If I said to you that we were going to be discussing cars and esports, what would you immediately think of?
Are you saying that Mario Kart is finally emerging as a top-tier esports and I could quit my day job and finally show off my true skills?
Well, that didn't happen, but there is a trend starting to pick up speed with automotive sponsorships in esports. See what I did there?
Speed. More speed.
Sandra Bullock's best movie. God, she's hot. Brands like Kia, Mercedes, and Audi have all signed deals in League of Legends. Kia is going to be the official sponsor of the European League, while Mercedes has invested in SK Gaming, and Audi is sponsoring Origin's League team. This is not Mercedes' first inroad into esports. Last February, they gave the MVP of Dota Major over $60,000 towards any bins he wanted. These deals may eventually take mobile gaming into a very interesting position. Look at me, I'm playing my mobile. Oh, there's a car wreck in front of me. That's how I see that going.
So, Sandra Bullock, huh?
Yeah, you know, she wasn't mobile gaming while she was launching that bus off that ramp in that movie.
Speed or Bird Box?
God, Bird Box sucks.
You know, speaking of birds in boxes.
Great segue.
I try. Another sponsor making moves in the scene is KFC. That's right. The Colonel is putting down his bucket and putting a headset on.
Ah, good for him.
Yeah. KFC has been teasing something to do with Call of Duty since last Friday, and on Monday, they announced their 50,000-pound Call of Duty tournament with another prize of a KFC Black Card. I did not even know that existed.
I want to know, how are they going to give somebody 50,000 pounds worth of chicken?
You know, it's either a gigantic dump truck or they mean 50,000 monetary pounds.
That would make more sense. Continue, I'm sorry.
Probably. There's not a lot of information given about the tournament or what a KFC Black Card is. All I know is KFC, I want one. I want one. So what we know about this tournament is it is going to be 16 content creators who are looking for partners, and it's being held in the UK, which an NA org took exception to, rightly so, because why would you not? Why would you not? eUnited asked how it could be an EU-only tournament when their namesake is an American state.
Kentucky.
Thank you.
Kentucky.
Yes.
That's the whole point.
Now, KFC Gaming responded by pointing out that EU is in eUnited's name, and then eUnited responded with a simple, so you're saying we can play. Thanks.
That's all that really matters to them, I'm sure. Yeah. Despite the great interest in their games, Activision Blizzard has had some rough times, and the hits just keep on coming. After announcing that the Destiny franchise's publishing rights and responsibilities were being sold back to Bungie, investors brought forth a fraud claim against the company. To give us more information on the subject, we turn to Josh Beard in our segment, Just Ask Josh. It has a name now.
Thanks, guys. Activision and Blizzard, more like Indecision and Snickers, am I right? Ever since Activision and Blizzard merged to become one of the weirdest Stockholm Syndrome situations the gaming world has ever seen, all we've been blessed with is money grab after money grab as Activision systematically dismantle one of the greatest companies to ever create video games themselves in Blizzard. It's like watching something from Nat Geo where you really want that little antelope to somehow get away, but logic and nature tell you that that little deer goat is done for. Or to put it in the meta terms, it's like watching Buck try to play Overwatch. Either way, it's not a pretty sight. Blizzard is on its deathbed as Activision stands over the shadow of a once-strong company forcing rounds of mobile games and microtransactions down its throat while we watch the downfall of competitive HOTS, no new Diablo, and a focus on making an already rich company even more rich, or richer, I don't know. Doesn't matter. And now they're under investigation for fraud. Really, all that means is that the investors want to make sure the execs and higher-ups weren't performing their own version of mad money behind the scenes. I mean, come on, though. All this news of CFOs leaving and splits with developers is a little too coincidental, don't you think? It's like when my kids tell my wife that I stopped and bought them ice cream on the way home, but as long as I deny it and she never finds the receipts, she'll never know. I just want one thing to come from these investigations, if nothing else. Can we please figure out why the team over at Blizzard hates me so much that they seem to have put an internal barrier on me ever getting past Greater Rift level 99 on Diablo 3. I'm not that bad. Maybe this is the season, guys. Maybe this is the season. Back to you guys over there.
Thank you, Josh. We can always depend on him to drop a knowledge bomb on us.
Yeah, sure.
And when we come back, we still have the meta top 5 and an interview with Mark Flood.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Kind of jealous of, but you know what? It's cool. Don't go anywhere. The meta will be right back.